Hey guys, welcome back to another DirectX engine tutorial. And in the last tutorial I did a resource manager. I apologize for the fail, but at least I made it work, and it was a lot shorter. The actual entire video was 40 minutes, but since I kind of failed on that, it made it to 20. So 20 something, I guess, whatever. So I guess, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I don't want to delay this video any longer. So in this video we're going to do an entity. We're going to create an entity class, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys know what an entity is, so I'm not going to explain that. So what you want to do, you want to add a class and call it entity. So add a class, add, and you want to call it entity, entity. Alright, so delete that. Alrighty, so in this class, we're gonna leave that as normal. You're gonna create and call it void. You're gonna call it initialize normally as always. You're gonna have a void. Well, what kind of void? Initialize Sprite. Gonna have some parameters, but I forgot to include some classes. Forgot what it includes right now. You know what? In here we can include animated sprites. I forgot. Yes, there we go. So in here, what we gonna need, gonna pass in an ID 3D11 device. Pass it as a device. I'm gonna pass in a shader pointer. LPCSTR. And texture name, or file name. Yep, texture file name. And a float sprite size. As you can see, we're gonna have this initialized differently. I don't think we can need initialize at all. You know what? You never know. We may do that something in the future. If you guys want to keep it, I don't know what you guys want to do in there. I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. Or, you know, I'm deleting it actually. It's up to you guys if you want to keep it or not. I won't be needing it. I don't think so. If not, I'll come back to it. Anyways, we're gonna create another initialize. Oh, I don't want the capitals. Okay, initialize animated sprite. We got two different sprites here. One for initialize a regular normal sprite, and another one is that will be an animated sprite. So in here is ID 3D11 device as well. You're gonna pass in a pointer device. You're gonna pass in an ID 3D11 device context. Device context. You're gonna pass in a shader. Pass in the LPCSTR texture file name. You're gonna pass in a float sprite size. I can't see. Come on, I can see. You're gonna pass a float frames per second. You're gonna pass a float animation speed, and bool is looping. We're gonna set that to true automatically since what should be looping for sure. Yes. Okay, and then we're gonna have a void update as always, and a void render, which we're gonna pass an ID 3D11 device context. And that failed on me for some reason. Device context and D3D X matrix. Passing the view matrix. And we can do the same thing for our projection matrix. We can have a function to also set position. position. Why can't I spell today? Float x equals 0. Float y equals 0. And we can have one to also set up velocity. And it's going to be the same thing. Okay, now we can go to protect it. No, do we need it? No, we don't need protected. We need private. I don't know what's I'm thinking there. We're gonna need a D3DX matrix, and we can have a world matrix here. We can have a D3DX vector 2 for position, and another D3DX vector 2 for velocity. And we can need a sprite pointer and sprites. Alrighty, I believe that's all we need for this class. Let's go to our header file, shall we? Alrighty, and like always, I went ahead and did the CPP file with all the functions first. Make sure in constructor you set the position velocity to 0. Set the world matrix to equals its identity and set the sprite to null. And a destructor, make sure to delete the sprite. But anyway, we want to initialize a sprite. This could be a really simple function. So we can say mSprite equals new sprite. And we just going to pass the sprite size. And we can initialize it here too. Sprite initialize, pass in device, a shader, texture file name, and because this is a regular sprite, so it should be false. Okay, and we go to initialize animated sprite. That's going to be a little bit, also two lines of code as well. And sprite equals new animated. No, not that one. Animated sprite. I'm gonna pass in sprite size, frames per second, animation speed, and it's looping. And here we're gonna cast it, since this is just a regular base class of sprite. We need to cast it to an animated sprite so that we could call the right initialized function. So if you don't do that, it's gonna call its base class initialize, and we don't want that one. We want the initialized one animated sprite, so we have to cast it. So we want to press parentheses, call animated sprite pointer, and then go out that parentheses and say mSprite. So this is what you want to do. You want to create a open close parentheses animated sprite pointer, and then create another one open and close parentheses outside of that, which will have mSprite, and then you want to say initialize, so it will call the actual initialize of that function. So we want to pass in device context, shader, and texture file name. So that's all this one is going to need. An update. We want our timer. Number include. Pass in a timer. Here we can have a float dt equals timer. Get delta time. I want to say mPosition plus equals mVelocity times dt, and then we wanna what you wanna say, velocity. You wanna make sure eventually velocity slows down to 0. That's usually what that should be. You wanna have like friction, basically 9.7f. We probably should create a static or constant variable for it, so it won't be like a magic number, but it's up to you guys. We want to say D3DX matrix translation. We want to pass in world matrix position dot x and position dot y, and the last one will be 0 because z will be 0 all the time. and you say if Sprite, we want to call its update function. Then we go to render, and same thing, if Sprite, we render it. Sprite equals new. Not what am I calling new for? Render, rise context, view matrix. Oh no, it's world matrix. Yes, correct. World matrix, view matrix, and projection matrix. And we want to set our velocity. So and position dot x equals x, and position dot y equals y. Same thing with velocity. And velocity dot x equals x, and velocity dot y equals y. And let's build this, make sure everything works. Alrighty. So then we want to go to our engine, and then texture shader, we need that. We don't need animated sprite anymore. So instead, we want to pass an entity. Let's test it out. Alrighty. So instead of animated sprite, it will be entity and entity. We're gonna test it out right now. Okay. So we don't want to do this. We call it new entity. Entity initialize animated sprite. And pass the device context, shader, texture file name. And we also want to pass in the sprite size, frames per second. And what was the last one? Animation speed. That should, hold on, let's go back to our entity again. For our animation speed, set that to 1. And this should be to 1. And then unless you want in the future, you want to make it even faster. But again, you can also, I don't know, it's up to you guys. It is up to you. Make sure you do that. I want to make it to the next line so I know what's going on there. Alrighty. So we don't need that. Entity, make sure we call update, and we call render. We don't need a world matrix. And let's cross our fingers to make sure it works. We'll see, hopefully. It should work, right? It'll be. Yep, there we go. Alrighty. Alrighty. Now that I have that working, let's try out the other one. Let's see if that one works too. Just don't want to give you something that does not work. So let's get device, shader. Let me just copy that because I don't want to write the entire thing because I'm lazy. And pass in 64. Alrighty, there we go. So it both work. But anyway, so there you go, guys. I mean, I don't want to keep this video too long. I think 14 minutes for this entity class will be fine. And in the next video, we can do an entity manager. So that will manage all the entities for us. Since that's the best thing we could do for when it comes to entities, to manage, so it could be managed. So that will be our next tutorial. Either that or, yeah, I guess so. That will work. Yep. So So that will be our next tutorial. So hope you guys liked this tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything else that you guys really like to see here, please let me know. Or there's something that I could have done better. You know, like always, I like the input. So, input is always great. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you liked it, and the next tutorial we'll do the Entity Manager. So I'll sign out. I'll see you guys next time. Sayonara.